Well, in Natal and João Pessoa, it's important to realize that, they call it a different country. When I was, just to talk about the misinformation that spread about these places, when I was in the States, I was told, growing up there, that people in Brazil, are hungry and starving to death and, stuff like that. And I was like, really? And so I went down there, and I was down in Sao Paulo, and I was talking with the people, and they're like, yeah, people in the Northeast, in João Pessoa and Natal, they're hungry and starving, but not here. I said, okay, all right. And so when I got to João Pessoa and Natal, I met plenty of people, and I didn't see anybody hungry or starving. One or two people, who kind of without a home at the moment, but there was no massive drought. Nobody was dying of starvation down there. I was like, wait a minute, where was all this hunger I've been told about my whole life? Very much in the southern parts of Brazil, in São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, or the south, they consider the Northeast, which is the region that Natal and João Pessoa are in. They consider it a different country. They call it Bahia, which is another state in the Northeast. But there's a lot of cultural differences from the south to the north. The south in São Paulo is a huge megacity. It's got international commerce. Whereas, Brazil was discovered in Bahia. The Northeast is where Brazil was really started. Since the 1500s, people have been living there, and São Paulo was, founded a little bit thereafter. But it's two different walks of life. So you get up to Natal and those areas, and the people are very different. They speak with a different cadence. They speak with a different accent. Politically and socially, things are different, and the people in themselves, though, are very generous, are very giving, and very focused on their religion. It's complex. It's hard to summarize. But something you'll see anywhere in Natal are young boys playing soccer in the street. Every house has a wall, and every window is barred up. And when I got there, I was like, this is great, super, super safe. I like this area. But they'll all have a wall, and they'll all have like a sliding aluminum garage door, and it'll slide sideways. Some of them have a little like cutout gatehouse door on it too. And that's just the streets. You'll go down the street, and it'll be wall, with garage door. And you don't knock on their door, you clap on their door. You just clap. And sometimes you yell João or Maria, because those are very common names, and they'll typically come to the door. But they're good people. You'll eat good food with them. It's a rice and beans and kind of an oiled spaghetti noodle, and then a chicken is what if you ask me what I ate on a certain day on my mission, I'd guess that one, and I'd probably be right. They're all very, whether or not they're interested in your message or not, the vast majority of them are very respectful of you as a missionary, and you as a man of God, as they'll call you. There's churches everywhere. You can open up a garage. You put a couple, you put a little altar thing in there and set up some chairs, and you got a church. And a lot of pastors talk about a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of misinformation about every church out there. Everybody's kind of got their church, and it's kind of like church wars sometimes. So you try and steer clear of that with just inviting messages, and you try not to get into the church wars too much, because that's a big thing up there. It reminds me a little bit of the religious fervor that Joseph Smith was talking about in Palmyra, or sort of the sectarian squabbles of the Sadducees and Pharisees and Herodites back in the time of Jesus. You're reading the scriptures and you're like, this sounds like where I'm at, just from the church culture part of it. But for the most part, everybody's very God-fearing. They'll treat you well. They're generally very respectful of what you have to offer.